you're interested in it or not, but you know I do the miniatures. My specialty is 4-inch blocks. So with this quilt, it's a full size. I guess this is the queen size, actually.
It's pretty big.
It's, I'll show you what I do with my 4-inch blocks. Now this block is really a spool quilt. Can you see the spools here? Right here. Now see, this is a thread on your spool of thread. So all of the thread pieces are little miniature blocks. Each one of these is a pattern for a 12-inch block. And if you've done much piecing or been looking at the books, you will recognize a lot of those patterns. Now I chart my own patterns to make a 4-inch block instead of the 12. And I enjoy that more because, as I said, I was the only one in the neighborhood, and my mother and grandmother quilted on those. And back then, the ladies, there was no traveling except walking. So the ladies in the neighborhood that could walk that far would come to my grandmother's, because she was the oldest one in the neighborhood. And they'd come to them and they'd have a little quilting class, together. And but now, that was back in the Depression, and you've heard of that all through school. Everything was trying to be saved. Well, they'd give me their scraps that was too little for the, so I worked with them. And I learned, I've often told them that I learned my geometry back then, because I learned that certain of those pieces, the scraps that was in the right size, the same size, I could put them together and make another pattern. And so I learned a lot by sewing those little pieces. So I've done this all along, but right now I really do enjoy the little piecing, just like I did back then. The saying is you're once a man, twice a child. I reckon I'm in my second childhood. All of that brings me back to my childhood, making that small block. A lot of people make fun of them. They think, why waste your time doing that? Well, I enjoy it for one thing. A lot of people enjoy seeing them. So I just keep on. It's just anything. Now, do any of you have any questions about quilting that I might answer to you? I know quite a bit of the history of quilting, and yes, sir.
How long did that one take you to make?
Now, I'm hard of hearing. You'll have to get something.
How long did that one take you to make?
How long what?
Did you take to make this whole one?
Well, honey, I don't know. It didn't take long to make it, but as long as you'd think. I really don't know. We didn't time them. Now, a friend of mine helped me sew the spool part. Only she wouldn't do the. Let me get up here a minute. She would sew this strip, but she wouldn't do the mitering. But she would sew the straight pieces on the machine.
I don't miter either.
Most folks don't.
I'm not good at it.
I did the mitering. Now that means putting it come in a vise. I did that by hand. And all of these was done by hand. It took 72 blocks to make the quilt, to make it that big.
And to give you an idea, depending on the pattern, it might not take her but 30 minutes to make a block.
Wow. She's fast. Yeah. And she does it on my hand. Gail said sometimes it takes you about 30 minutes to do a block.
Wasn't that about like that? It takes as long to cut the pieces out as it does to sew them. And believe it or not now, in piecing the I wish I brought one that I was piecing, that was just in parts that they could see. I didn't really know what to bring, what to show you. But
do you still keep a 1/4-inch seam on everything?
right now, I'm having more trouble with my eyes.
She may or may
My
not.
eyes are 92 years old, so you know, they don't look as good as yours. But I can still feel. A lot of my sewing is done by feel. You've done it so long, you can feel your sewing almost, so you don't really have much problem. And of course, with the little ones, I can have them closer than I can with big blocks. So I don't have the, you just have to work with what you have. And I'm not gonna quit quilting. I want these quilts as long as I can hold a needle and decent.
Yeah.
So,
As long as I remember to thread the needles, I don't think I threaded the needles before
No,
I
you
left the other
didn't.
day.
I can thread sometimes. And a lot of that, I don't see the eye, but I know where the eye belongs, and I thread that. And if it's a good needle,
She says as long as the needle doesn't
so,
squint.
I can thread enough of them that keeps me busy until you come back.
Yeah. I usually put 10 or 11 on a spool of thread, and then she just pulls one off at a time and how much thread she needs, and then just leaves it on there. So we go once a week to visit, so every time we go, I try to remember to thread the needles.
But we get other things going sometimes, don't have time. But that's the way I used to do my grandmother when she was old, and she had cataracts that growing on her eyes then. And I would thread a whole package of needles on the spool of thread. She'd pull off what she wanted and hold them on, so she could sew. So I'm having the same thing done for me. So it, it goes, life goes around.
You're
It
just
goes
back
around.
there.
And,
How many quilts,
I'm so happy to see y'all.
how many quilts do you
Interesting
think she's made?
Oh, my.
She has no clue.
We have no clue either, and you can't imagine how many we've seen. But last year, she had 8 blue ribbons in the fair and 1 red ribbon.
Wow.
So,
Well, the red one was crochet.
yeah, it was great.
That's a sideline, right?
And she
They
did learn to
crochet,
crochet.
crocheting like they did quilts. But,
What other
we're gonna have more than
handcrafts
that
does
this
she
year. We're gonna have more than
She,
that this
what
year.
other handicrafts? She has done every handicraft because her kids were in Cub Scouts and all that. But, I mean, because we've been in the room and she's got, you know how they used to do the ceramics and paint ceramics? My mother went through that
Mine
stage too. She's done anything and everything. And something that she does, she's made out of Christmas cards. See, I should have brought that. She's made all these wonderful ornaments out of Christmas cards, and you take the cards and you cut them in pieces. Like, I have a ball that she made, it's about this big, it's like
Yeah.
little octagon
Yes.
pieces put together.
Those are hard to do.
Those are
No,
hard to
they're
do.
put together with circles.
She does them with circles.
Yeah,
You mark that with circles.
yeah.
And,
You make a nice observation.
yeah. See, listen to her with her geometry, it's
I
all
thought
those triangles.
if we'd have thought, we could have brought you patterns and an example, and give all of the patterns to make you some of those cards. Make it a-
That might be a Christmas program.
Class.
We can get some to Mary
They've
Beth.
got, I've given them patterns for all of them.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's
she
make
hasn't
them do it.
completed.
He disappeared, there he is.
That,
Gail is in the FCE, which stands for, it used to be like the Women's Home Demonstration Club. Now they call it the FCE, and it stands for Families, Communities, and Education, if I'm not mistaken. So, they have lots of, as I said, I'm in the Button Club, we're in the Quilt Guild.
Which guild are you in?
Which one?
Which quilt guild?
The Hearth and Home.
Okay.
And we used to be in the Smyrna one, but we haven't been to in a while.
I know I've seen you at some,
Probably.
well, something or other.
Yeah.
I had
TVQA
lots of
something.
the old buttons, and when she got to coming over, I gave them to her. And they helped me get them out, I'm trying to get things out of my house. After 90 years, you need to get rid of things. So I've given them the patterns and all for the Christmas card projects. I don't know, anything they'll take, and they'll take most anything I give them.
She's done every craft, I think, known to man.
Now, out of the miniatures that are in the case, does Miss Minnie have a favorite?
What's your favorite one that's in the case,
Oh, what's the favorite quilt up there?
in this case? Which is your favorite one?
Well, I guess in one reason is, I'm so proud that I had enough, is this one right here. Now, this is made with real antique fabric. When my high school math teacher had never married, had no family much, and she kind of adopted me as hers. And so I got most of the things that when she died, I got most of her things. And this was stuff in her, the things that I got, and it was, there was 3 old blocks. Now that fabric is old, and it will rub off on your fingers. But they were full-size blocks, but they were in pieces. Some of them were just partner. So there was enough there that I have the good pieces that I could cut out and make a nice little quilt. And I guess those pieces are well over 100 years old because they were there for her mother, and she was nearly 90 when she died, and they were her mother's and her grandmother's and the aunt that she had an older aunt that lived with them when she was young. So I don't know who it really belonged to, but it was her ancestors that had it. And I guess I'm kind of proud of that, because it's all over 100 years old, but I made it. So it's, because I try to keep all of them, and you see I use the scraps right down to the last, so you don't throw anything away.
Tiny pieces.
I was born about the time that the Depression was, at that time. And then when you did that, you learned that this motto was, use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. And that's the way most everybody lived back then. And I still do it in a way. Because when the World War II came along, we had to do the same thing. That was the motto then. Because back in the Depression time, the stores was full of all these beautiful things. If you remember seeing on Little House, when they go to the store and they had all these pretty things and the children wanted, nobody had money to buy. Well, when the World War II came along, people had money to buy anything they wanted to buy. But there wasn't anything in the store to buy because it had been rationed. So you couldn't buy, everything had been used for the war effort. So it was just made a flip.